Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shay with Amos. I'm your host, Jacob Gorgi, and joining us today, this is a former Amo. I think it's the best way to say it. It's not an Amo today, nor is it a Tons. We have our first Abuna on the show today. So, joining us today is Abuna Pavlos. How are you, Abuna?
Good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Oh, of course.
And I'm happy to be with you guys. I heard this has been going on for 3 years, 17 or 18 episodes. So, great progress. And
thank you.
I always admire what you are doing, and all of us, we learned a lot from these episodes, and a great idea. And so God bless you. God reward you for all this great effort and great ideas.
Thank you. I've never had an intro like that before. I don't know where to go from. Funny story, before we get into the interview, I think you and Abuna Theodore, before we did the first episode, I remember I came up to you and I asked, can we do this? You're like, yeah, of course. And it was great. And afterwards, I think it was you that said, let's do more shows. So actually, for anyone watching at home who may be keeping up with the rest of our content, When a Bubbles is the reason why we have, I don't know how many shows do we have. James, how many shows do we have?
5.
5?
Yeah.
Oh, we have 5 shows now.
Yeah, God bless.
Yeah. So go on the channel, check out those shows.
And I'm sure there are so many helping you and participating in doing that. Lots of people behind the scenes. I think it's a great service and a great way to involve many people from all ages.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that this is growing the way it's growing.
Thank you for that. Now on to the interview. So usually when I do these interviews, I always start from the beginning. But I guess the beginning for you could either mean beginning of priesthood or beginning of when you immigrated. So we're going to start from when you immigrated, which was 19 something?
1995.
Okay, good. I was trying to remember. It's like, no, 2004. It's like, oh. So what was that? First of all, what brought you to America in the first place? Was it?
So I finished my engineering school in Alexandria in Egypt. I was like Abuna Samuel, like Abuna Theodore from the same church. We grew up St. George Sporting. And I was looking to study abroad, and in applying to different programs, I got accepted in West Virginia University. And I moved August 1995, came here to Morgantown and started my graduate school, did master and then did PhD. It was in civil engineering, my specialty.
Mm-hmm.
5 years took me both, and the way I came here, I was applying for jobs, and my first job I got was in Chicago. That's how I moved from West Virginia to Chicago. Yeah.
So on your ID, does it say Dr. Father Pavlos, or is it just?
This was history. We have it hanged up in the basement in my office.
Oh, really?
The master and the PhD. So just history for now.
So that then leads me on to the moments leading up to priesthood. First of all, how'd you figure out that? Like, did they just come up to you and say, hey, we want you for an Abuna? And it was like kind of a yes or no answer? Or like, how did that work? Or was it like a selection process, I guess?
Of course, it started from Abuna Samuel, and he asked, for me to be thinking about priesthood. Of course, took me and Hana, my wife, a year until we got to agree on it, because it's a big responsibility. It's like you're responsible in front of God about the souls of the whole church. It's not something easy to accept, and who is worthy for it? Nobody among us say I'm worthy to be serving God this way. فطبعا it was a hard decision to make, but God made it happen because He saw something that maybe He wants us to be doing that, and He is the one who works through us,
So I'm just trying to imagine, how did Sony find out? Now I'm curious. Was it just when Bruce will talk to me today? He wants us to.
He talked to both of us. Yeah.
Oh, both. Oh.
Yeah, it has to.
I guess that does make sense.
Both of us has to agree.
So then, then your ordination day, because I'm assuming once that year period was over, you're like, "Khalas, we're gonna do it." What was that day like? Because I've only seen the airport after when we received it. That's the only part of the ordination I've seen. But when you went, what was that day like? Was it obviously nerve-wracking, but what was the feelings?
Well, first of all, it was a surprise because Pope Shenouda is the one who ordained me. He was visiting America at that time, and he didn't give a date or even a final approval.
Oh.
So it was a Friday. I was at work. I was working in an engineering firm by Navy Pier, and Abuna Samuel is calling. Tell them this is your last day at work. You are being ordained on Monday. So it was a surprise, and of course you need to give 15-day notice. It never happened. And in a couple of days, everything was set. And here we are, Monday in New Jersey, and the ordination took place there. Small group of people went, but it happened so fast.
Oh wow! Yeah. So was it just all a blur then, the actual ordination, or was it just more of, what were you thinking? I guess when you were actually, because to be honest, I've seen some videos. And there's always the one guy that's crying, he has the garabaya and stuff, and it's very emotional. So I guess, what were your emotions when you were walking up to then get ordained?
It's really happening. I never thought I'll be fit for that, or it's happening, and I'm here in front of Pope Shenouda. طبعا Pope Shenouda was somebody who was great, a world figure, not only in Egypt. He was a world figure to be in front of him, and of course there is big scare that what's happening now. Who's gonna be carrying this big responsibility? How I'm gonna deal with it? And it was mixed feelings,
I see. And then from New Jersey, so if I remember correctly, it goes, you're ordained and then you go into your 40 days.
Yeah.
So was it the same thing where you just went you got ordained Monday, then Tuesday you were in, California, right?
Yeah.
So it was just like that?
Yeah, usually you go right away. Even sometimes you leave on the same day. So at that time, this was the only monastery in North America, Coptic. I went there, it was still small, and we were two of us, me and Abuna Elisha. He was ordained with Pavlos in Africa. Everything was small and quiet, it was very enjoyable, the 40 days, in California.
So then, this leads me on to some questions I had about the 40 days. And I'll be honest with you, for the audience at home, we do pre-interviews just so they know what I'm going to ask, and I make sure I ask the right questions. And after we did ours, I thought of more questions about the 40 days because I'm very curious about this. So when we talked, I know you said the training is it's all about the Eucharist. Is it?
Yeah.
So and I may have asked you this on the phone now that I think about it, but is it just then the one liturgy, just the Basilian liturgy, and that's it? Or do they do kind of multiple, like, today we're going to do Basilian, tomorrow we're going to do, like, this part of the Gregorian, or, like, how does that work, or is it just Basilian?
In the monastery, we only prayed St. Basil liturgy because all the monastery liturgies are quick.
Yeah.
You know, like, and Gregorian and St. Cyril, they are long, and we only prayed this St. Basil one. And as far as learning, the priest part and the liturgy, they are the same. There is not much different between the three liturgies, you know. And the priest who was, there was two of them who were teaching me, one from the monastery there in St. Anthony, and another one, he was coming from Egypt, from St. Mary Baramos. He was a senior monk, a priest monk, who was also teaching me. So there was the two of them, you know, like.
And how would they teach you? Would it be, we're going to do, like, this litany, and then I want you to do the same litany the next day, or is it like, how would that work?
It was like sessions away from the liturgy, you know, like in the afternoon or something. We have a book, we sit, go over the book, some explanations, and the next day you apply what you learn. And mid the period, like maybe around 20 days or so, you start to do the consecration part, you know, like, because since you got ordained until that day, you are a partner in the liturgy. You don't do the consecration of the bread and wine. And then on that day, this is your first liturgy. In Arabic, they call it Istilam al-Zabih, the day, you know, you have the sacrifice that you are responsible for, and you do it yourself. فطبعا the period before that is learning. The period after that, you start to practice more what you have been learning, you know. And it was a simple, you know, like program, as I said, because the monastery was new. It was few years old. We few monks, two of us. Now, when they ordain priests, there are like more intense programs, and with different speakers, with classes, like what happened with Abuna Theodore, for example. But like it wasn't the case for me. It was much simpler. You know?
I see. This is very interesting. And then on that note, though, when you did do your first liturgy where you were consecrating, was there any, I mean, that's a big deal. Like, that's, khalas, you're an abuna. Like, there's no turning back. I mean, you're an abuna when you walked in, but you know what I mean. It's like, this is the big thing. So, did you find that when you were actually doing the consecration, did you find your understanding of the liturgy different? Or had it already changed when you were learning the different parts?
It's a great awe, and that you feel you're holding the body of Christ in your hand. You know, for the first time, it's a feeling that you know, like, it's hard to describe. You know, like, because you have been always watching from afar, either before you being ordained or even after ordination, and you are just a partner, you know, like a priest. Now you are, you know, really holding the body of Christ and breaking it, and you know, like فطبعا it's something you feel you don't deserve. Who am I that I'm getting to do that now? You know, like.
So then, as you were finishing your 40 days, and maybe now in retrospect, what was the biggest lesson that period taught you? Or also, what was some of the memories that kind of still stuck with you in your 40 days that maybe you still apply today? So I'll let you pick which one you want to answer.
I loved the monastery, you know, like the quietness, the solitude, the daily liturgies, the simplicity and the friendship with the monks. quietness of the desert, you know, like because it's very similar to monasteries in Egypt, because Egypt, the monasteries are in this desert, and this one, St. Anthony, California, is in the desert, so you felt home. It was really like I remember once I told Hannah, I was calling her over the phone, I was telling her, I think I'm staying here, I'm not coming back. So it was really nice, you know, like, until now, my favorite trip is to take a group and go to the monastery, you know.
Oh, of course. Actually, yeah, they did one, was it a year or two ago, to California.
Yeah,
Was it?
we went last Lent. Yeah.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
in the monastery last Lent, yeah.
Yeah. I think I was there, but I remember seeing the pictures. It was very funny. So after your 40 days, you then come to St. Mark's. And this was 2002?
Yeah.
Okay. I was born 2002. So when you were received, because you were actually telling me this, there's a process.
There is a rite for receiving the new priest, yeah.
So during that rite, 'cause it's usually not Ashaya, right?
It is in the evening, yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
in the evening.
So, I mean, what was that day like? I mean, just not only for you, but even like maybe for Tasoni and just like maybe everyone. Well, because for the audience at home, his kids are around my age. So I think Justina is a year younger than me.
When I went to the monastery, Sandra was 2 years old. And when I was in the monastery, Hannah called me and she told me, guess what, I'm pregnant.
Oh.
And it was Justina on the way. Yeah, so Justina was born later, yeah. But when we came from the monastery, it was only Sandra. She was 2 years old, you know.
Oh, so they were, babies. Oh, okay.
Yeah, only Sandra.
Okay, so never mind. They won't remember. But that day, though, I mean, what was the feeling? I mean, was it as not nerve-wracking, but was it the same type of feeling that when you were in the monastery and you were doing your first, consecration, or was it a similar feeling, or was it something completely different?
Of course, like now you are in the real world, like you have been, they call the 40 days your honeymoon. So your honeymoon is over, like your quietness and your enjoyment of prayer every day, and now you are for the real work, like you have to start your service, طبعا I'm sure the church at that time was maybe the first priest to be ordained for a while in the area, because it was only 2 priests at that time in the area, Abuna Samuel and Abuna Ishaq. Abuna Ishaq was in St. Mary. So Abuna Ishaq was ordained several years, I believe 1998, so it has been like 4 years or more they didn't have a priest ordained. I think everybody was attending. Usually when the rite of the receiving the new priest, the area priest come, and there was several priests to receive the new priest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, because at that point, the church in Milwaukee would exist.
Came,
And then
and
was Minnesota?
That's it. Minnesota was far,
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because we're doing the show, so I actually could call back to episodes now. I think we mentioned the rite and kind of that, but then when you did your first liturgy at St. Mark, what was it like? Was it a Sunday liturgy you did, or was it a?
I think it was because the receiving rite was Saturday and the first liturgy was Sunday.
So walking into your first liturgy, I mean, again, this whole episode is about feelings today, but there's a lot to unpack. What was those feelings like? I mean, was it the same? I don't want to say anxiety, or was it anxiety? I don't know.
Again, mixed feelings, because you're starting your real, mission of life.
Yeah.
And all the eyes on you on that day. And you have to watch everything that you do or you say. And but I was taking everything in a simple way. And I don't think I was worried. I was just, feeling that I'm starting the real responsibility, and I felt the love of the people. And since that day until now, I really admire the love of everyone of our congregation, and how much I loved and I have been loved by everybody, and because of their love, I'm continuing until now.
Yeah. It'd be weird if they didn't love you anymore. So then, that leads me on to our final question for tonight. This is coming out at night, so it's daytime. It's okay. You've been a priest now for 21 years. Hey, it was recent, your ordination anniversary.
Yeah, September 9.
September 9. Oh.
Yeah.
So, in those 21 years of priesthood, what was the biggest challenge that you as a priest had to overcome?
Of course, many challenges. I can count them, maybe as I told you when we have the phone call, maybe the time when the revolution happened in Egypt, it was, everybody wanted to leave the country. We had so many people come here, and the church is small because it was at that point St. Mark only. Even the gym was not there yet. And the gym was there. The gym was there, but we were praying on liturgy, and suddenly the numbers are increasing. Many Arabic speakers. The youth who were here, have been here for a while, they started to feel they are overwhelmed. Something has to happen, to manage all of this happening at the same time. Through the grace of God, we were able to sit and make a plan together. And the first plan was to start praying in the gym, to have one Arabic liturgy and one English liturgy to fit the needs of the newcomers in Arabic and the needs of the old-timers or the youth who are mainly English speaker in English. And it started from that time, and little by little we started to think, it's not enjoyable to pray in the gym, we need a church. And this is how the idea started of building the Resurrection Church, the numbers were growing for the church, the numbers were growing for the gym, for the Sunday school classrooms. Our Sunday school classroom in St. Mark were so tiny, so they were not enough. That's how we started to put together the plan for new Sunday school rooms, for new church, for new social hall or the basement, and so on. Even the parking lot, because the parking was maybe half that we have now for people who used to park in the street and walk. And it was a big job. And then after that, more than the church is to manage the needs of the different demography or categories of the church. You have people who are just arrived from Egypt. You have people who have been here for 40 or plus years. You have people who have been born here. You have people who are highly educated, others simpler. You have people from villages. You have people from, big cities like Cairo and Alexandria. And so different. I have to cater for the different needs, and the number is big, and you are one, So, of course, Abuna Samuel was there, and he was my great mentor and leader, and I learned a lot from him, and he led me through a lot of challenges, and without the fatherhood of Abuna Samuel, I couldn't be what I am right now. I learned a lot from him, and together we moved through a lot, before Abuna Theodore طبعا. The second challenge, which was big for me, was COVID. It was a very tough period, of course, for everyone. And of course, we wanted to maintain the spirit of the church, the spirit of people still remembering to worship and to be around God. And it was the challenge of the pandemic and the spread of the disease, and how to manage that. Was everybody was a big congregation, was around 2,000 people, and this was another challenge. And through, of course, the technology that we do, like remote services, and we started little by little to have liturgies. God برضو led us through this to be able to keep the unity together and not lose anybody because of this scare that was going on.
Yeah, that's interesting, because we were just talking about COVID before we started, and I was saying, I got lucky where I actually had to come to, it was kind of when they said sign up to come. So I remember those liturgies. Did you feel like it was harder to maintain spirituality during COVID, or to get people back after COVID? Or is it both equally
both?
challenging?
For at the beginning, of course, was to maintain spirituality. And then little by little, as things started to improve, to revive things. Because, it was different for different people. Some people were, easy, taking it easy, and coming back with them was not a big deal. Some people were not. Some people were still very, cautious, and take them some time, and again, it was the grace of God, and the experience of Abuna Samuel, and the love of the people, and the good hard work of the servants who worked a lot, who were here during this hard time, and maintained the church running, and encourage and work and reach out to people. It's a big teamwork, that we managed through the grace of God.
And then, before we end the interview, I have one last question.
Sure.
What's your favorite memory as a priest?
I love children, and of course youth, but when I started, the youth who are now youth were children. And I always, love to be close to children and youth, and I love to always do what is, fitting for them, and maybe the part that I love to do, and I felt maybe we need to revive after God bless us with a new priest. We used to have a children liturgy, and we used to do a sermon about knowing your Coptic church, and even older people, like youth and older people, were like that. I think this is something I love to do, and I think the future of the church is in its youth and its children. I remember the quote of Pope Shenouda: "A church without youth is a church without future." So our church is depending on its youth and children to be the same and to be even stronger. And as I started by saying that one of the things that you guys are doing show how much, like you have great ideas. And since I started until now, I like to give to trust the creativity of the youth and give them the room and the space to work and to come up with great ideas. And this is one of them. As you know, I admire what you are doing. And we trust our church in your hands, all of you.
Oh, was it my hands? No, that's a bad idea.
Jacob and James and all,
Yeah.
I'm really happy and proud of our youth. We have great youth and great children in our church. They are doing amazing things, and day after day, standing in awe for what you are doing, guys, and how you get each other to the Lord, and you get the love of God in your heart and spread it to others around you. So many examples, I don't want to go long on that.
Well, thank you, Abuna. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And thank you for all of the guidance you've not only given me, but so many people. For, again, the people at home. We're talking a lot to the audience today. Abuna Pavlos was one of the guides kind of helped me build the foundation of the SMCC, which is the name of the media services at St. Mark's. He was the one who told me to make a WhatsApp group, which I didn't think of. I should have thought that. But also down to just how to manage a service, especially as it grew. So truly, the reason why this show this show probably would have stayed, but the other show still exists because of not only the encouragement but the guidance you've granted us. So we also thank you from that.
Thank God.
Thank God.
God who guide us with the Holy Spirit, and He put in you the love together and the energy to work as a team. Thank God.
With that said, though, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you, Abuna, so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
God bless you guys.
Thank you, and God bless you as well. And for everyone at home, thank you all so much for watching. God bless, and good night.